back to the channel. Today we're going to unravel some incredibly complex events in Genoa. Rumors are circulating around the Newman family, but what's the truth? In this video, I'll summarize the plot points that will be revealed in the next episode. Stay tuned to see what happens.
Welcome back to the channel. Follow Genoa City Addicts. Today is a beautiful day to spill some major tea and vent about the absolute insanity unfolding on our screens. We are a community of passionate fans, and today we need to talk about the latest explosive drama. Let's get right into it. I cannot believe they actually did that. I mean, I am sitting here typing furiously late at night because my mind is completely blown by the sheer audacity of Victor Newman and the absolute fire coming out of Kyle Abbott right now. Are you kidding me? Before I even get into the nitty-gritty details of what went down, can we just take a collective breath and scream at our televisions? Because I have been watching this show for years since the glory days of the 2000s, and this is easily one of the most frustrating, toxic, and yet brilliantly dramatic things the writers have done in a long, long time. I am so emotionally invested that I am literally losing sleep over this plotline. And I know some people are loving this Victor as the ultimate untouchable puppet master angle, but personally, I am so sick and tired of him getting away with literal murder. Or, in this specific case, attempted murder and psychological torture. Wait, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's back up to the absolute nightmare that the Abbott family just survived, because we need to process this trauma together. So, Patty Williams. Yes, the infamous Patty Williams. Victor Newman actually funded her, set her up in a luxury suite, and unleashed her on Jack and Diane like a heat-seeking missile. And what happens? Total, unmitigated disaster. Jack gets stabbed and is left bleeding out on the floor, fighting for his life in a cold hospital bed with machines beeping all around him. Diane gets injected with digitalis by Patty in a horrifying, heart-stopping hospital corridor chase. I mean, watching Kyle scream for a doctor while holding his mother's limp body. My heart just shattered into a million pieces. The absolute trauma that Kyle has endured because of Victor's petty, ancient grudge against Jack is completely unforgivable. Because let's be real here, Victor didn't physically hold the knife, but he absolutely guided Patty's hand and paid for the blade. And that brings me to the confrontation of the century. Kyle Abbott is finally stepping up to the plate, and I am sulfur monoxide here for it. He marches right up to Victor Newman, looks the legendary mustache dead in the eye, and publicly challenges him. Kyle is furious, his voice is shaking with rage, and he has every single right to be. He basically tells Victor that he knows everything, that he knows Victor unleashed Patty from her facility, and that he is going to expose him to the entire world and the GCPD. But of course, Victor Newman being Victor Newman, he doesn't even flinch. He just stares Kyle down with that cold, dead-eyed, terrifying glare and warns him to back off. Victor literally tells Kyle he is out of his league, that he is a boy playing a man's game, and that he's playing with fire. Like, the absolute nerve of this man. Victor creates a literal bloodbath and then acts like Kyle is the one out of line for being mad about his parents almost dying. So, Kyle is not backing down. Not this time, not ever. Remember when they tried this Kyle Goes Dark and Ruthless storyline a few years ago and it kind of fizzled out because he just went back to whining? Yeah, didn't work then either. But this time, it feels incredibly different. Kyle is operating out of pure, unadulterated love for his family and a burning, desperate need for justice. He is visiting Patty in her dingy jail cell, trying to strike a deal with a literal psychopath just to get the dirt on Victor. It is reckless, it is dangerous, and it is exactly the kind of soapy, high-stakes drama I live for. But Kyle's masterstroke, his absolute genius, top-tier move. He is planning to approach Nikki Newman. Yes, he is going straight to the matriarch of the Newman family to blow Victor's entire world apart. Let's talk about Nikki for a second, because my heart is just bleeding for her right now. Nikki is currently living in absolute, terrifying darkness. She is bandaged up, struggling with severe vision loss from her medical crisis, and trying to navigate a world she can't even see. The vulnerability of Melody Thomas Scott's performance right now is off the charts. Give this woman an Emmy immediately. She is frustrated, she is scared, and she is heavily reliant on the people around her, especially Victor, who is trying to control her every move under the guise of protecting her. And into this literal and figurative darkness steps the horrifying truth about what happened to Jack Abbott. When Nikki finds out that Jack was stabbed, and that Diane was injected with a lethal drug, and that Patty Williams is the culprit. Oh, the fallout is going to be biblical, because Nikki isn't stupid. She knows Victor's dark history better than anyone alive. She knows Victor hates Jack with a passion that defies all logic and reason. When she pieces together that Victor is the sole reason Patty was back in Genoa City, fully funded and weaponized, she is going to lose her absolute mind. Nikki loves Jack. They have a deep, profound history. Jack saved her life during her darkest battles with alcoholism when nobody else could reach her. He has been her rock so many times when Victor was busy playing corporate god. We already saw Nikki visiting Jack in the hospital, and Victor was fuming with jealousy. He couldn't stand it. He thinks Nikki is betraying him just by showing compassion to a man who is literally fighting for his life. The sheer toxicity of Victor's jealousy is astounding. He pushes Patty to attack Jack, and then gets mad when his wife feels bad for the victim. So to find out that her own husband essentially orchestrated a hit on her dearest friend. I am predicting a marital explosion that will shake the very foundations of the Newman ranch. Am I the only one who is completely exhausted by Victor's endless excuses? Every single time he does something heinous, he claims it was to protect the family or to reclaim what is rightfully ours. He justifies using a severely mentally ill woman like Patty Williams as a pawn just to get Newman Media back and to punish Jack. I'm sorry, but stealing a company does not justify putting innocent people in the morgue. Nikki is going to see right through his garbage, manipulative excuses. She is going to be absolutely livid that Victor's obsession with Jack and his insatiable corporate greed almost cost Jack his life. And honestly, I hope she takes off her wedding ring and throws it right at his smug face. But let's look at Kyle's strategy here, because it is fascinating. Approaching Nikki while she's blind, vulnerable, and emotionally fragile is a bold, almost cruel move. It's a little manipulative, if we're being completely honest with ourselves, but I can't even blame him. Kyle knows that Victor's only real weakness, his Achilles heel, is Nikki. If Kyle can lay out the undeniable proof that Victor funded Patty's reign of terror, Nikki will turn on Victor. She has drawn lines in the sand before, but this crosses every moral boundary. Kyle is basically weaponizing Victor's wife against him, and the poetic justice of it all is just absolutely delicious. I mean, think about the history here. Remember when Victor brought Marco Onicelli to town to take over Jack's life? He literally brought a dangerous, violent criminal into Genoa City and let him sleep with Phyllis. Victor has a long, documented history of going way too far when it comes to Jack Abbott. And every time Nikki gets mad, they separate, she drinks, and then they magically reunite. But I really, truly hope this time is different. Nikki's own health is failing, she is facing the terrifying prospect of permanent blindness, and she needs a supportive, honest partner. Not a ruthless mob boss who is busy orchestrating stabbings in his spare time. And what about Diane? Diane Jenkins Abbott is finally home, and the scenes of her breaking down in Tracy's arms were so incredibly moving. Diane has done some terrible things in her past. Let's not forget she faked her own death and let Kyle mourn her for a decade. But nobody deserves to be kidnapped by a creepy, controlling doctor like Markham and then injected with poison by a deranged Patty Williams. Diane has been through hell and back, and Kyle watching his mother suffer like that has flipped a switch inside him. He is no longer the entitled rich kid complaining about Jabbo office space. He is a man at war, defending his blood. And we can't forget about Abby. Abby is visiting Jack in the hospital, and instead of just comforting him, she's dropping hints about her own marital struggles with Devin. I mean, read the room, Abby. Your uncle was just stabbed. But it just goes to show how chaotic the entire canvas is right now. Everyone is dealing with their own massive crises, but Diane and Jack's survival has to be the focal point. So Victor gives Kyle this harsh warning. He tells Kyle to back off and stay in his lane. But Victor is severely underestimating Kyle, and that is going to cost him. Victor still sees Kyle as Jack's little boy, a nuisance rather than a legitimate threat. But that is Victor's fatal flaw. He's arrogant. He thinks he is untouchable. He thinks because he has billions of dollars and a massive security team that he can just swat Kyle away like a pesky fly. But Kyle has absolutely nothing to lose at this point. His dad is in a hospital bed, his mom was almost murdered, and his family's peace has been completely shattered. A man with nothing to lose is the most dangerous enemy you can possibly have. I am predicting that Kyle's conversation with Nikki is going to be the catalyst for the ultimate Newman family civil war. Victoria and Nick are going to be caught right in the middle of the crossfire. Victoria will probably defend Victor because she always defends his corporate ruthlessness and has zero empathy for the Abbotts. But Nick is going to be disgusted. Especially since Nick is dealing with his own massive demons right now with the whole Matt Clark and fentanyl nightmare. The Newman family is crumbling from the inside out, and Victor's obsession with destroying the Abbotts is the hammer smashing it all to pieces. Wait, let's just pause and think about Patty for a second. Patty is sitting in a cold jail cell holding all the cards. Carl is visiting her, trying to get her to confess that Victor put her up to it. Will Patty actually flip? Patty is so incredibly unpredictable. One minute she thinks she and Jack are star-crossed soulmates. The next minute she's stabbing him in the gut. Carl is offering Patty a deal, maybe better conditions, maybe some form of leniency if she just gives up Victor. But Patty is calculating. She's weighing her thirst for revenge against her own freedom. It's a high-stakes game of psychological chess between Kyle and a woman who has nothing left to lose. If Kyle pulls this off, it will be the greatest victory the Abbotts have ever had over the Newmans. And if Patty goes on the record against Victor Newman, oh, the GCPD is going to have a field day. Paul Williams must be losing his mind right now over his sister's actions. I know some people are loving this dark, gritty turn the show has taken, but personally, I am just so stressed out. I watch this show to escape my own problems, and right now my blood pressure is through the roof, but I can't look away. The acting is phenomenal, the stakes have never been higher, and the Abbott-Newman feud is back to its absolute peak glory days. I just need Jack to wake up, fully recover, and join Kyle in this crusade. We need a united Abbott front to finally take Victor down a peg and show him he cannot play God with people's lives. In conclusion, because I could literally rant about this all night until the sun comes up, Victor Newman needs to pay. Kyle Abbott needs to succeed in this revenge plot. And Nikki Newman needs to open her eyes metaphorically, of course, given her current tragic situation and see her husband for the monster he has truly become. I am dreading the angst but absolutely here for the drama. Let me know if you guys agree or if you think I'm being too hard on Victor. But honestly, I don't think that's even possible at this point. This show is giving us everything right now, and I am seated for every single second of it.